If you are already overwhelmed with just Instagram, don't add on Facebook and TikTok just because you heard that's where the older people are and younger people are and you want to reach everybody. If you are overwhelmed, you're not going to do any of your social media platforms well, and that is worse than only being on one. Brock Johnson has a great quote I heard in an interview where he says, "The grass is greenest where you water it." So focus on what you are already doing and do that well first before you branch out to other platforms. What social media platforms should you be on as a dancer? I get this question all the time when I'm talking to people about social media, and unfortunately, there's no one clear answer. It really depends on your needs and what goals you're trying to achieve. So in today's video, I'm gonna go through a couple things you should think about, and hopefully it will clarify for you what social media platforms fit best for your needs. First thing, before we even jump into social media, is make sure you have a website. Why? Because you don't have control over social media. TikTok might get banned in a year. Instagram might change their algorithm. Actually, we know it's gonna change because they're always changing it. Your engagement might drop. A company might go bankrupt and disappear. You never know. So I wouldn't recommend putting all your eggs in one basket when it comes to what platform you're using. A website is fairly simple to make. You do it once and it just sits there and you update it as you need. There's some really great options that make it really easy to make a simple website like Wix or Squarespace, and there's one that I'm forgetting, but if I remember, I'll put the name up here right now. And I am planning on making videos specifically talking about dance websites. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when that content comes out. Also, something great about websites is you can really tailor it to make sure people see exactly what you want them to know about you. With social media, they might see an older post first, they might miss your newest post, so it's just harder to direct people to see exactly what you want. Versus on your website, it's a bit easier to do that. I'm not saying you have to spend a ton of time or money into creating a professional looking website, but I do think it's worth it to create something really simple that lives there and you just update it as you need, kind of like a resume. Now, the first question to ask to figure out what social media platforms will be best for you is, what is your goal with social media? Are you trying to get more clients? Are you trying to get more gigs? Are you trying to get more work as a choreographer, as a teacher? Are you just trying to share what you do with friends? Each one of these goals requires a different solution and a different approach. Each platform has its strengths and weaknesses with the type of media it likes to show, with the demographics that are most prominent on that platform. For example, TikTok's algorithm is much better for engagement and getting viewers and likes. So if you're really trying to grow your social media numbers because maybe when you are auditioning for gigs, they look at your social media following, then TikTok would maybe be better than, for example, Instagram. But if you want something that's easy for people to find, to get a good sense of who you are as an artist, as a choreographer, as a teacher, Instagram maybe would be better than TikTok because you have more options for pictures and videos and carousels, things like that. Plus, generally, TikTok has a slightly younger audience versus Facebook or Instagram. So if you're targeting adults who have kids, for example, then maybe you want to be on those platforms. And that goes into my second point, who are you trying to reach? The main demographics that you are trying to appeal to will be on different platforms. So it might make more sense to be on one versus the other. If you're trying to reach more younger people, then TikTok and Snapchat. If you're trying to reach older people, Facebook, Instagram, maybe even something like LinkedIn, and YouTube is a little bit in the middle. Just to show you what I mean, I went on ChatGPT and asked it to pull up some studies on what demographics are on what social media platforms. So let's take a look at that. Facebook, widely used but particularly popular among age 30 to 49 and 50 to 64, right? So if you're trying to target people to come see a show who maybe have more financial resources or who have kids, Facebook will be great for that. Instagram is favored by younger adults with mostly 18 to 29. And 30 to 49. So it's a nice mid-range if you're trying to reach some younger, some older. For example, a dance studio where you have students that you want to connect with, but also parents that you want to connect with. Instagram might be a great in-between option. Or if you are trying to get work as a choreographer, this might be a great option because most choreographers are in that demographic. And Instagram is a very visual platform where you can show off your talents very easily. LinkedIn attracts a professional demographic with mostly 30 to 49 and 50 to 64. Notice it says professional demographic. So when people go on LinkedIn, they are there looking to hire, to network. So that might be great if you are trying to get work as a choreographer or a more commercial setting. Twitter, now X, skews younger with 18 to 29 and 30 to 49. YouTube is universally popular with high usage rates across all age groups. TikTok, significant usage among younger adults, 18 to 29 and 30 to 49. Snapchat, by the youngest demographic, 18 to 29. So as you can see, each platform has its strengths and weaknesses. Again, who are you trying to reach? And also what kind of content is primarily used on that platform. YouTube is great because everyone's on it, but are you trying to create long form content? I mean, that could be dance combinations. Studios do that all the time. It could be a tutorial for a dance move or a certain combination, but now YouTube also has shorts, so you want to see if you want to do that. There are a lot of options. So that leads me into my next point. What platforms do you naturally gravitate toward? Personally, I use Instagram and YouTube a lot, so those are my main platforms. I could try and use TikTok, I could try and use Snapchat, I could try and use Facebook more, I could try and use LinkedIn, but it would just take more effort on my end to know those platforms. And right now I don't want to stretch myself too thin. So I'm starting with the platforms that I feel most comfortable with, that I already spent a lot of time on. Remember, this is going to be a lot of work, but you want to enjoy some aspects of it. So start small, start simple. And this goes into my last point, which is what is your capacity? If you are already overwhelmed with just Instagram, don't add on Facebook and TikTok just because you heard that's where the older people are and younger people are and you want to reach everybody. If you are overwhelmed, you're not going to do any of your social media platforms well, and that is worse than only being on one. Brock Johnson has a great quote I heard in an interview where he says, "The grass is greenest where you water it." So focus on what you are already doing and do that well first before you branch out to other platforms. Now, the great thing is, especially with AI, nowadays there are ways you can take the same piece of content and repurpose it for different platforms. But before you even worry about that, do one well and then grow from there. That's another reason why I'm only sticking with Instagram and Facebook. I know I could try and do TikTok and get more followers. I could try and do Facebook and get more followers, but it's a lot of work to do this. And so I'm limiting myself. And honestly, I'm still not doing what I would like to be doing on Instagram and YouTube. So until I get those nailed down, I'm not gonna really branch out to other platforms. There you go. I hope those questions were helpful in narrowing down what social media platforms would help you the best in achieving your goals. Let me know in the comments what social media platforms you think you should be on after thinking through those questions. If I missed something, please let me know. If you would like me to go more in depth on any one of those specific questions, also let me know in the comments. In the meantime, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you know every time I drop a new video, and I'll see you next time.